After weeks of student isolation, boycotts, and protests, university professors are now the ones who threaten to interrupt academic life, submitting 4 requests to the government and threatening strikes in all faculties after 1 week. For the 3rd time, the judicial process between Shkollzen Berisha and the chair of the Socialist Parliamentary Group, Talon Bala, has been postponed. The Democratic Party of Durrës is mobilizing its supporters for the protest of the opposition on February 16th in Tirana while calling upon all citizens to unite against the Rama government. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Friday, the 25th of January 2019. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Oliver, and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country, translated into English. Pedagogues of the University of Tirana have gathered today to create a professional advertisement of their role and responsibilities, as well as explain their function in Albanian society and in the university system. The assembly of members from the Faculty of Economics did not attend this meeting, but lecturers expressed their support alongside students and their colleagues for their demands. Pedagogues also invited colleagues from other universities to react to the effects that this law on higher education has caused in public higher education institutions. Unanimously, they demand the annulment of the higher education law as they claim it seriously affects the university's autonomy and academic freedoms. At the meeting of the Pedagogical Assembly among faculties at the University of Tirana, which was held today, Professor Mark Marcu has urged members to react, stating that no one can be allowed to violate their dignity. He went on to say, "Today, with the decision by the Council of Ministers, we have been turned into a university without any autonomy or academic freedom. Will we accept this? Or will we have the reactive force necessary to refuse the situation? I think yes. We have many possibilities at our fingertips, and we do not have to be afraid. There is no reason for any professor or any free man to have fear. I urge every dignified person here to react, because we should not allow anyone to harm us," stated Marcu. Assemblies in the faculties of the University of Tirana gave the government a 1-week deadline to respond to the requests. Otherwise, they warn of a possible boycott without a teaching deadline. Gathering today, assemblies decided to address the Prime Minister with their demands, including support for student requirements, objection to the law on higher education, and the start of legislative process for compilation of the new law, an increase of the budget for public higher education, and a real guarantee of financial autonomy, and finally, an immediate suspension of the government's denigrating campaign with an approval of the so-called pedagogue status. The doubling of prices in dental clinics after the decision by the Dentist Order Assembly will now be subject to a judicial process. The Ministry of Health has submitted to the court the decision by the Dentist's Order. The document requires a suspension of increased fees by the Dentist Order Assembly until the completion of a judicial process. The situation has alarmed other state institutions. The Competition Authority has launched an investigation into the creation of monopoly situation, as there is evidence that the effects of free competition can be eliminated by setting the increase in immediate tariffs to all entities that are part of this order. For this case, the Competition Authority has initiated a verification process. A day earlier, the Dentist Order published a table with prices that would be doubled in the dental clinics for therapy, orthopedics, surgery, and orthodontics. For the 3rd time, the judicial process between Shkollzen Berisha and the chair of the Socialist Parliamentary Group, Talon Bala, has been postponed. The cause is due to a failure to appear at the court of Tirana for the 3rd time in a row by prosecutor Agron Can, who has argued that his absences are related to health reasons. Berisha's suit has to do with the statement that Talon Bala made to the investigation commission that the son of the former prime minister did not pay his taxes. Outside the court, Berisha claimed that Mr. Bala has been repeating slanders and that there is no place for reconciliation. There is only one place for a subsequent punishment for defamation, this time penal punishment, Regarding the absence of Prosecutor Berisha, expressed, "I believe the prosecutor when he says he has his reasons for absences, and I hope he will not be missing the next time." Referring to the sentence of Rome Karai, Berisha said that it is now Bala's turn to be punished for the penal offense of defamation. This is a penal trial and not a civil one. In a penal trial, the damage is presumed to be smaller than compared to a civil court. A few days ago, you saw how the colleague of Taulan Bala, Romeo Karai, was convicted of defamation from charges filed during the time of the Parliamentary Investigation Committee. Now it's Mr. Bala's turn to be punished for the penal offense of defamation. The son of the former Prime Minister warned that upon completion of this penal trial, there will also follow a civil trial against Mr. Bala. The opposition has launched their organization efforts for the protest on the 16th of February. Chair of the Democratic Party in Durrës, Ferdinand Jafferi, during a meeting with residents of former Keneta, invited them to join the protest. The call among Democrats, according to them, extends to anyone who is dissatisfied with the corrupted Rama government, as they are. The DP chair in Durrës, Jafferi, emphasized that a protest is the only solution. He stated, "If a neighborhood citizen goes out to protest, it does not mean that he is against the government. It simply means he disagrees with the politics promulgated by the government or he hates what it is currently doing. But out of protests come solutions," explained Jafferi. Borrowing the same question posed by the American embassy, referencing major arrests of individuals accused of criminal or corrupt activity, Democrats in Durrës have prepared posters with the response, "Who's next?" The Minister of the Diaspora has asked the Albanian Parliament to give their okay to set up special offices for immigrants in each of the country's municipalities. These offices, which require specialized staff, are also expected to have a financial impact on the state budget. Pandeli Maiko urged the majority and the opposition MPs not to hide in the shadow of the diaspora as they have been doing all these years. He stated, "It is a special group of Albanians who do not live here. We need the expertise offices because they find that officials simply do not respond to them," said Maiko. Many foreign policy deputies have asked Maiko that for this draft law, which affects the law on local government, should also require the opinion of the Ministry of the Interior, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and Ministry of Finance. Moreover, the Commission's chair set up the condition for the minister in order to obtain the approval of the draft law to remove the amendments of Article 3, which requires mayors to submit their financial reports by the 31st of May and not on the 31st of March as it currently stands. Mimi Koveli responded by saying, "It is absolutely impossible to reject this change in Article 3. Maiko continued and said, "I would not be here if I did not go with the representatives of the ministry. They have given their full support and have not shown any reasons to be dubious or doubtful." In the end, the deputies adopted, in principle, the draft law with the request to reflect the changes required by the majority and the minority in government. The reduction of 7% of the fees paid by companies for each arrival in Rennes will not affect the price of passenger tickets. The cause of high ticket prices in the country is a result of the number of taxes applied to flights. The Tour Operator Association, in reaction to Aura News, added that under these conditions, Albanians will continue to pay expensive tickets. Eurocontrol fees, despite their decrease, even when costs are nothing to go, there is zero effect in the total cost of an airplane. Even on a 180-seat aircraft, it will have no effect. Even if the price decreases by 30 euros, it will still have not any effect on the 180-seat aircraft, stated Besnik Vathi. Vathi states that the high prices at the airport are thanks to the overwhelming taxes that affect the cost for travelers. The European Organization for Security and Control of Air Navigation has indicated that from January 1st, companies will have a liability of 227.8 euros per flight, down from 244.62 euros, where it stood just a year ago. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and have a good night.